Hello everybody, in my last video I drew this picture. Now I used some of the items in the Jazzy Art box and some Crayola super tips which weren't very good. And although I was kind of happy with it at the time, in hindsight I think I rushed it and I'm not happy with some of the colour choices I made and also some of the styling on her dress. But also I forgot that I had a little miniature of my character made a couple of months ago, and so I've already designed her clothing and what she looks like, and I just didn't take that into account. So I'm actually going to redraw this and I'm going to try and make her look a little bit more like this, and I think I'll probably change up some of the colouring. I just don't want to leave this as it is, so I'm going to try and draw it again, and I think that I can do better. This is going to be a straight up digital speed paint, and as you can see it kind of looks like Elvis to start with, but yeah, it does get better, don't worry. I wanted to keep the same pose. I was really happy with the pose, although I don't think I executed it very well in the traditional art one. And as you'll see, I kind of work on it a lot in the sense that I use the marquee tool to move things around. And this is what I love most about digital art, is that you can draw like that and it doesn't take as much time to erase things or move things around as it would if you were to do it traditionally. And that really is what I like most. I mean, some people might think that the undo button is the best thing out there, and yes, it is very good, but for me it's the marquee tool and being able to move stuff around. So if you'll notice that I do actually use it quite a lot on this. I squish her body up, I move her head up and down and around, and then at the end I move the entire piece down a little bit, because again, I placed her too high up on the page. So yeah, digital works for me, and that's why I prefer digital over traditional. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking about the differences between the two, because they are both really good, and I'm not knocking traditional artwork at all. I love it. I'm just better at digital because I find it easier, and let's just stick with that. Anyway, moving on. So I really love what I've done with her outfit on this. I copied what was on my little miniature a lot more, and I'm really happy with the styling. At the top of the dress I just sort of made it up a little bit more because there wasn't that much detail on the miniature, and I'm actually really happy with how it turned out. I kept the same idea of the jewels on her belt and on her boots. I also put it around her neck and on her head. Instead of being a diamond shape, I went for a circle, which I thought softened it up against all those like angles on her skirts. And her hair, I'm so happy with her hair. I copied the style in the miniature, although I did leave out some of the braids. It took me a little while to get the placement of her head circlet thing and her eyebrows. I don't know why it took me so long to figure that out. And even towards the end, looking at it afterwards, I think I could have squished her forehead down a little bit, but I'm not too fussed about it. I think it still looks okay, and I think it's just because I don't find this style, it doesn't come naturally to me. I'm always wanting to do everything in the right proportions. I think probably because I haven't practiced it enough, so I found it quite a difficult style to really stick to. But I really like the challenge of it, and I really love the style because it does look so damn cute. And I think that's what the other drawing was missing. I don't think it looked cute at all. I think it just looked a little bit scary, and her face kind of looked a little bit like a blow-up doll, which was not the look I was going for. What I wanted to try and convey is like a little bit clumsy, and she's casting this lightning spell and she doesn't know what the hell is going on. So if you missed my first video, this is a drawing of my Dungeons and Dragons character, who's a half-elf sorcerer, and she uses wild magic, and according to the rules of that, there's a table that you roll on, so whenever you cast a spell, another effect can happen, and it's quite random and it can be quite funny at times. I kind of modeled my character on that, in that she's a little bit clumsy in the way she uses magic and she's not very good at it. I think though I do need to work on facial expressions a lot more. I know that that's something that I'm also not very good at, but you know, I'm always sort of practicing. I know I don't practice sketching and drawing enough, but I do eventually get there. And another thing that I've noticed in the way that I sketch, sort of skipping back now to way back to the sketching process, is that I don't do it how most people do, like where you do a rough sketch and then you do another sketch over the top that's a bit more refined and then another over the top or whatever. I tend to just do one sketch on one layer and I keep erasing and refining as I go, kind of like pushing the lines around. That's kind of how it feels for me, like I'm actually, it's like I'm using a piece of string and doing an outline of a person and then pushing it into shape. That's kind of, I don't know if that makes any sense at all, but it's kind of how I feel when I'm sketching. I'm like, the line that I want to hit is there somewhere, and I'm, you know, pushing the line around until I sort of hit that perfect spot. I'm probably not making any sense, but it kind of makes sense in my head. So I'll just leave it at that. With the colouring of this, I'm really happy with the way I did it. I started out just with greys, just so that I could like get the values right and the contrast between different areas, because I knew her hair was going to be dark and I didn't want anything to be too dark in front of that. And I knew her dress wanted to be a mid colour, and it just really helped in laying out the colours. I mean, obviously I could have just gone straight in with the colour, but I think for me it really helped just seeing it in black and white, so I could really make out where everything sort of fits in. And I'm really happy with the blue I chose. Like, blue's not really my favourite colour, red is, but I think with this character, blue always stood out to me as part of her background, so that's why I chose blue for this. And I really love how the lightning turned out. That was one thing I was disappointed in my other video. I just love how sharp and angular it is. And then obviously with Photoshop you can use effects to get a nice glowing colour to that. So I just used the layer style there and just put an outer glow on it, and I did it in like a purple just to sort of break it up, because I thought if I did it in blue then it might be a bit too blue. But yeah, I softened it up a little, and I think it looks great. I think it turned out like sort of, this is more how I imagined the character when I was drawing the first one, and so I'm really glad that I tried drawing it again. And I think next time, rather than rush it just to get a video out, I think I really do need to take my time and make sure that I just don't compromise on some of the details in order to get through it quickly, because yeah, the first one I was happy with it at the time, but I think I was kind of kidding myself and I wasn't happy with it. And this one I am happy with it, and it's been a few days actually since I drew it, and I'm still really happy with it, and I think I'm done with this one. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it if you give me a thumbs up, and do subscribe to my channel, because I've got so many more videos coming and I can't wait to show you. There we go, it's all finished, and I think that looks a hell of a lot better than this one. I'm happy with that. I hope you like it. I hope you really enjoyed this series. I will possibly do more in the future, but I've got some really great art projects coming up, so hopefully you'll stick around for those. I will definitely be doing more Dungeons and Dragons content, so if you like that, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And I hope you really enjoyed this. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!